Hey, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. I'm starting at the beginning. I rewatched 2000's Final Destination. Hard to believe it's been 25 years. At a budget of $23 million, the movie made $112 million and was a big box office hit and spawned a whole bunch of sequels, books, comic books, and a new sequel, kind of prequel, that opens in theaters this weekend. So this week I started rewatching them with the very first one. I don't know that I've ever owned the first couple of movies. I think I had them on DVD. I don't know that I ever upgraded them. But when I was up here in Alaska and got all my stuff up here last year, I went through and there were a few things I was missing, like franchise stuff, and I didn't have most of the Final Destination movies. Well, there is a great, from Warner Brothers, little box set, I guess if you want to call it that, 4 discs. You get all 4 Final Destination movies, the first 4 for $15, and I already own the 5th one. So bonus points for being really cheap to replace these or add them to my collection. James Wong directed this. He and Glenn Morgan came from the X-Files. Writer Jeffrey Riddick had written this to be an X-Files episode. That was something I didn't really know. And they retooled it. They decided it was a better idea for a longer form movie, and a franchise was born. Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Kerr Smith, and Tony Todd star in this movie. Like I said, it made over 4 times its budget. It was a big hit at the time and had to be to spawn, well, a series of arguably legendary movies. If you've never watched a Final Destination movie, they're your typical horror movies, except for the fact that the death scenes are always these kind of mousetrap. You remember that old game Mousetrap? We had to set up different things and different things had to fall in place. And at the end of the game, you flick the button to see if it all works, if the marble's going to roll all the way through it. Well, these are the kind of contraption things that happen as death takes these people. The beginning of each movie, there's some horrible tragedy that one of the characters gets a premonition of and gets a few of their friends out of the way of this, and the tragedy continues to happen without them in it. So they have dodged death. Death is who comes for them. In every movie, it's always death. But what the movie's evolved into is kind of like Saw is for contraptions, Final Destination is for contrived deaths that appear to be natural causes a lot of the times. There was a train sequence in this first one that just throws up a piece of metal that surprisingly decapitates one of the characters. And it's just like, wow, I forgot that even happened. Everybody has their favorite kill scenes from these movies. Obviously, the plane that explodes at the beginning of this one and sets events in motion is a lot of people's favorite because it's so well done. But the log scene in the second one would be the one that, well, when I pull up behind a log truck now in 2025, I still go, I'm not getting behind that log truck. That's how much an effect these movies had on me. I don't get scared of them. I watch these movies kind of like I watch a lot of horror movies to see how the people are going to expire and what creative way is the director and writers and producers going to do away with these people who somehow dodged death. Now, the new movie is supposed to go deeper into the mythology, and Tony Todd has a bigger part. It was his last role, and they kind of knew it was coming. So there's a lot leading up to this new 6th movie that's getting great reviews, and I'm kind of excited to see it this weekend. But I want to get through the first 5 as well. So going back to we got these characters that get off the plane explodes anyway. At first, the FBI thinks maybe they had something to do with it. Later on, they don't really understand, so they keep following them just to see if they can figure it out. And it's funny how some of the characters take a while to come around to this idea. Sean William Smith is in this movie. Wasn't this after Stifler? I don't know. He's playing like a weird, almost missing the vital statistics of his character that he plays in a lot of movies. It just feels like he's almost out of place in this film. Was it early in his career? I'd have to double check. Everybody else does a great job in the film, especially Ali Larter. I think she did a really good job of playing a kind of character on the edge, fringe of society kind of thing, an artist and somebody who just didn't get into the whole high school thing but still bought into whatever this kid saw. The kills are amazing. Even today, there's a lot of practical effects. Obviously, the plane crash and a few other things are digital, but they do try and keep the majority of things like the guy that chokes to death early in the film, he's tripped on water. The water was probably CG because they made it recede afterwards, but it wasn't obvious, and it played pretty well on this Blu-ray. Oh, and talking about the Blu-ray, it looks pretty good for a Blu-ray. I'm so used to watching 4Ks with HDR. This kind of looks flat and 2D and old, but then again, it's 25 years old, and it was a VC1 encode. There was pretty high bit rate for a Blu-ray. I mean, it was regularly in the teens to 20s and peaked up into the 40s at times, but the soundtrack, it's a Dolby Digital True HD, and it was locked at a 0.6 megabit rate. What's that, 600K? It sounded good. I mean, like the effects and the music and everything, it sounds good, but could be brought up to modern standards. It just wasn't lossless. It just, you could kind of tell. It wasn't like, and some of these old movies where I've talked about, they have older sound effects that don't translate very well. The gunfire, whatever, from the 70s just doesn't play on today's stereo systems as well. It sounds like a cap gun or whatever. This wasn't that. It just wasn't as bombastic as it could be, but I turned up the volume a little bit, and it is a good soundtrack. It would just be nice if they modernized it into some lossless, and hey, maybe they'll upgrade it into 4K now that the new movie appears to be getting good reviews and will do very well. I think the movie holds up 25 years later, and it sets the tone for what's to come. I don't remember, as we go farther into the movies, I remember each one less and less, so I'm very much looking forward to watching 2 through 5 before I watch the new one that's in theaters this weekend. There are a couple of long extras on the Blu-ray that not only go into the making of the film, but some of the behind the scenes, and goes really into a deep dive of how studios get early showings and people turn in report cards and they adjust the movie. This was the first time that all of these people involved, they were, most of them just came from Fox or were working for New Line Cinemas. This was the first time they kind of let these report cards and stuff adjust the movie. And they said in the end that it became a better movie. They had like a happier ending, and it didn't really work. Also, some of the people that people wanted to see die didn't die in the ending. So they had to fix that as well. And this one time it worked in the favor of the movie, I guess. They kind of allowed that to happen. It wasn't something that the studio brought in later, like all the director and the writers were all involved in the adjustments and everything. But I thought it worked out great, and obviously did, because now there's 5 other sequels. So long story short, Final Destination holds up 25 years later. It'd be nice if we got some kind of 25th anniversary edition this year. I haven't heard of any such thing. But if you need these movies on hard disk, $15 for 4 movies is a pretty great deal. There was a great video vlog podcast that I watched the other day. I'm going to have to link below or something. Guy got really into a good aspect of physical media is making the decision to watch something. To make the decision to literally walk over to the shelf, pull the disc out and put it on is working so much better these days for people than strolling through the algorithm to see, let the algorithm pick something for me to watch tonight and not really enjoying it. When you pick something out for yourself, you have a tendency to pay more attention to it. So anyway, long story short, Final Destination was great. I'm looking forward to the rest of the movies. Go get some physical media and build a little collection. You'll feel better. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts on the way. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and have a spectacular day.